All right, I'm tagging a bunch of people.
Okay, I'm going to play some music. Where'd you
I don't know who else to tag. Great, I'm bitching on I don't know who
Yeah,
else.
this is, we're going out live
All right, so anyone that's here, I don't
here.
know.
Even though it doesn't look like the mics are on, all kinds of software issues today.
Really weird tech issues, guys. So if you heard any of that, I didn't really say anything bad. You just heard Gemma
Jim whining and
keyworded.
complaining.
Yeah, because you guys know I'm on limited time, man. And plus, I didn't get to let anyone know what we're doing here. Look, I tagged like 6 people. I don't know what else to do. And anyone else who wants to come in, let's see how many people we can. I put a post in my community tab. After I send this, I'm gonna be like, ooh, should have tagged that person. Ooh, should have tagged that person. Okay, let me get into the street. All right. Okay, we have some people. What's up, Can you guys hear us? Let me know, please.
It's like music with you shrieking over it about having limited time.
Yeah, I don't see anything either.
Yeah, there's several people in here. Hang on, let me turn the music off. And here we go.
Oh, that's right. Me and Lotus Girl are Facebook friends now. All right, go ahead. You can.
There we go. We're live. We've been live. Kari F. Hey, bitches. That's what Kari says. But somehow the mics were hot before I even turned them on. That's why I always check. So
he's like, how random.
Got to hear Gemma complaining and whining.
Are you kidding me? You can't see us on screen? My hair looks awesome. Oh, there we are. You guys have to see my hair.
I'm waiting.
Steve, I like that background.
I'm waiting on mine to catch up. Yeah, I had a roller coaster in a loop back there. But this is just like diamonds, or something, but it's flashing, and I figured people would be like, "Oh, it's moving. It gave me a seizure or something." So,
guys, check out how Steve spelled my name.
Look how Steve spells Steve's name.
I'm Gemma Jade in Stockton. Merch.
Yeah, somebody called me that one time just as a joke in the cat.
Oh, I know, I love it.
Steveton, and I like that. So I put that
Gemma
in. I
Jade.
thought, what can I do with you? Yeah, it's still Gemma Jade. It's just the G and the. Well, it could be.
That's
Jade.
true. The G could be a soft G, and it could be Gemma Jade. I like it. I like it. I might start spelling my name that way from now on, guys.
Hey
Thank you, Mike J. He says, I see you
girl.
both, and your hair does look awesome. All right, go ahead, Steve.
Lotus
I'm sorry.
Girl telling Tennille I would move to Kingsport in a heartbeat if I had a place to go. I like that area of East Tennessee. There's always a lot going on down there. I can't, hang on a minute, I can't get my camera lined up here. But yeah, we just, the Zombified are on hiatus for undetermined length of time. They just had to take a life break. So we're going to be, in the meantime, doing this, I guess. We'll be more organized next week and hopefully not so many tech issues.
Meaning next week on Wednesday, not next weekend. And Cookie, what are you doing? That's your super's names. Yes, our superpower names.
That's our alias. You know, like Clark Kent, nobody could tell he was Superman. He had the glasses
because
on.
He wore glasses. Yeah. I always, like, even when I was a little girl, I was like...
It's like, that's bullshit. Just put the glasses on. You know, wait, where'd Superman go? He's gone.
Sirach, thank you. Oh, your hair is down. Looks great, girl. Thank you. Mike J, the J can also be an H sound. That's true. I could be Hema Jade.
Or Yemma Jade. Yemma Jade.
Grey Wolf Paranormal. I hope everything works out for them. We do too. I wasn't sure. That's why I put just this week until I spoke to Steve, because they sent him a message, I guess, assuming that he would share it with me, of course. And they're just having some personal issues. You know, they have kids, they have family just like everyone else. So we're going to pray for them. And Real Evil, I'm hoping will be back eventually. But what I wanted to do tonight, and I think Steve's on board, is ask you guys. We have 3 different shows that we do every week. We have Fireside Chat on Sunday, which is our talk show, which we do pretty much what we're going to be doing tonight, which is like a little bit of everything. We have Real Evil on Wednesday night, where we were doing urban legends and where we talk real evil all the time, no matter what. And we have Campfire Stories on Friday nights. That scared me.
And it had to show me an ad, but that's okay. You get paid for it.
Okay. And we do Campfire Stories on Friday nights, where usually we read, usually from our books or whatever, or we interview someone else from the paranormal community. So let us know what you guys would prefer, and it's going to be kind of like a majority rules, or we can do like, a Fireside Chat this week and Campfire Stories next week and something like Real Evil the week after, whatever you guys want. Ciroc, Gemma is looking like if she went to the club, she might have to shoot her way out. That has happened to me before. Yeah, the only club I ever went to was Pub 46 in Clifton, New Jersey, and that's because I knew the owner. So if there was a long line, I would like call him, and like the not bodyguards, the bouncers would be like, "You gotta wait in line like everyone else," to like my male friends, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not going in without them." So I would just call the owner. I always thought it was so cool when that happened. He would like walk me through the bar so I can get a drink. There'd be like 400 people waiting. But then it like got me problems with like other women because they'd be like, "Who's this chick?" I had fun, okay? I can't find
to shoot my way out of a place, but I did have to use a pool cue to clear the way one time. It's at a biker bar called the Hitchin' Post, long since gone. But
I'm just sending out the link from my phone, guys.
Hey, there's Laura Stevens. How you doing, Laura? Good to see you.
Hey, Laura. I didn't say hi to everyone individually, but hello, everyone. Hello. Nick Y, yay, we finally did it. He's been messaging me since 7:50. He's like, "Where's the link? I don't want to miss it." I see you. He just texted me. I'm in.
That's Nikki. Little Nikki. Excuse me.
Nicholas. All right, guys, you know what I want to do? I want to go down the list. It's going to be hard because Steve... Oh, I can X him out. I forgot about that. I always think if I X him out, I'm going to, lose the Skype. So I want to say hi to everyone individually since this is one of the first ones on my channel like this. I think this is the top here. Okay. Blue Heron. If there's anyone above Blue Heron, I cannot see you. Grey Wolf Paranormal. Todd Brown. Lotus Girl Towing Neil. I think we're Facebook friends now. William Chappie. Bill Chappie. I think I know who that is. Chris Jarvis, my cookie. Todd Brown. Good evening from the Detroit Archipelago. I don't know what that word means, but I've always loved it. Laura Stevens. Did I miss any? Oh, I missed a lot of people. Johnny Ramirez. Carrie F. Mike J, of course. Grey Wolf Paranormal, of course. Carl. Sir Rock, love you. I don't know if I said Johnny Ramirez yet. I'm all hopped up on Dunkin' Donuts frozen caramel. John Edmonds, Laura Stevens, of course. Hello. And let me go down, down, down. And Nick Y, Nicky Boy, Eddie Ram. It's Jack in the Box, Widow Wink in the house. Oh, my bestie since I was 7 years old. Yeah, it's Gemma Jade, but the G and the J are switched. Since we have Stock Steveton over on the other side there.
Just doing something a little different tonight. And there's a question in the chat there. Lotus Girl Towing Neil. Do you ride, Steve? Yeah, I do. I haven't in a while. I have, I knew what you meant. But, back in the day, I rode a Harley. I still ride. I just don't own one right now. I have plans to get one, but I'm probably going to get a Norton or a Triumph. For some reason, I'm drawn to the British bikes right now.
So, guys, I have a couple of things. First of all, I want to say hi to Stephanie Salverin. Hi, Jem and Steve. I love you guys. David Stewart, hello. What is up? Nick Y says he's doing a documentary about the urban legend of Man Bear Pig, super serial Okay, laugh it up. I'm never gonna live it down. Vera Ray, call me Mr. Flintstone. I'm so glad you found it. Boo Bear, Archipelago. Okay, John
It's
Edmonds.
a group
Thank
group
you.
group of islands. The
He's
Philippines is an archipelago. So
Oh, he says, mix it up, whatever you are feeling, guaranteed you won't please everyone. Oh, that's definite. But I think everyone that's in here right now, I don't think any of you guys would have a problem with anything we do, honestly. So I have two things. Sirach, I'm going to get to you with the question for Steve. But I wanted to say, dang it, I had something really good I wanted to talk about. You guys, oh, not really, really good, I guess. Nick Y is a Pennsylvanian. And
I'm sorry.
when I lived, I know, when I lived in Pennsylvania, he and I would go out. And I remember one night just getting like completely intoxicated. And we had this like fight. I mean, like we almost came to blows, except he wouldn't hit a girl over New Jersey or Pennsylvania. So he is now got an awesome job, but it's in South Jersey and he had to move here. So he is living in a hotel right now looking for a place to live. And he's saying Wi-Fi here sucks again. Last week, he's like, food here sucks again. And I'm like, you need to try the Chinese food and the pizza. But maybe it's different in South New Jersey. So I have to bring him up my way and get him some sushi. I told you we met on MySpace, which is really crazy. So, Jack, it's Jack in the Box. Jack is going to be doing my social media for me in the very near future. So I'm going to have a TikTok, which I already do have, but we haven't done anything on it yet. And he's going to help me out with my Twitter. You guys know I don't really have a lot of time. So, and okay, where is the comment about Steve getting ready to play Santa? Sirach says, Steve, are you getting ready to play Santa Claus this Christmas? The beard is distinguished in gentleman style. Oh, look, he combs it.
Yeah.
Did you see that look you just gave? That was very dapper, Steve.
I have thought about it. There's probably not enough money in it for me, but because you get peed on and puked on and punched and kicked, and I used to have a biker friend that played Santa. It's funny because he was cross-eyed in one eye. So you get just the most awesome Santa Claus pictures of it, and he'd sit there with his mouth open. And I remember one time I stopped by to see how he was doing. They had a little shed out in the parking lot of a grocery store where they were taking pictures. And he just put a kid off his lap, and I said, how you doing, Santa? He said, damn, hellfire, Santa needs a shot of whiskey and a Xanax. So...
I can't.
Doesn't sound like, but he said, yeah, the kids peed on him, and some kids would scream and cry, and others would pull his beard to see if it was real, and like mine, it is real. And yeah, I'd have to have danger pay or something to do that. Now, the one I wouldn't mind doing is Santa Paws, where you go to pet store and people bring their animals to see Santa Claus. And thought, having little assistants, girls dressed in skimpy elf costumes, that I could deal with that.
Naughty Santa with that mesmerizing voice. So I have a funny Santa story, guys. Estella Pinkton, welcome. No, you are not. We started at around 9 o'clock. So whiskey and Xanax, classic Santa. So he just said classic. I added the Santa.
Works.
Okay, so my first job I ever had was in the Bergen Mall here in New Jersey, in Bergen County. I think it's in Paramus, as a Christmas elf. And I can tell you, I really disliked children. Even after I had my own kids, up until really RJ, I disliked all other children except my own and a couple of my nieces and nephews. So this thing, and my ex-husband, father was the one kind of running the show. We had a little elves hat, but he was like a really mean guy. He was really mean. So I didn't know how he got this job, but he was like managing. So anyway, I get this job, and he would, like, everyone there hated me. The Santa hated me. The other elves hated me, because here's what would happen. We would have to go on lunch. So they would tell me, okay, cut the line at, this person, 15 more people, and that's it. Well, then I'd get the parent, come on, my kid's crying. And I'm like, okay, you can go. Then the person behind them would be like, oh, please, we've waited in line forever. Don't make my little girl cry. And I'd be like, okay, you can go. And then I'd go to the next person and the kid's like, please, can I see Santa? And I'm like, okay, you can go. Like, we would never get lunch ever. And he would be like, you need to stop doing that. I'm like, I can't say no. Nick, what? What are you mad about? He's giving me the cursing smiley face on my phone, like 10 of them. And another one is when I was a little girl, I was chewing gum and I sat on Santa's lap. I was never afraid of Santa. I always thought he was really cool. I was one of those kids that likes to pull on the beard. So I'm chewing gum and he's like, what's that you have in your mouth, little girl? Bubble gum? I was like, yeah, see? And stuck it right in his beard by accident. And it was like a real beard in this huge wad of like that bubble yum. Santa didn't like me.
So, yeah.
Denitza Monica Miranda Suevez. Hello.
Hey there, Denitza.
Slow motion. Welcome. David Stewart, some kids are scared of Santa. Exactly.
I still feel bad about insulting Denitza last stream when I said something about her grandma. I was only kidding.
Guys, we could probably just do this every week. A lot of people love our fireside chat. Like, there are a lot of people who hate it, but I notice the people that say that they hate it are not the people that are ever in it. Like, yeah. I've never seen any of these people come live. And, like, while you can listen afterwards, of course, I could see how it might be a little bit kind of boring and, like, bland because we make you guys so involved in the conversation that it might be a little hard. Like, it's kind of like just listening to someone else's conversation for an hour or so. Nick, why I went for Chinese last night, god awful. Okay, first of all, I got Chinese food in your beloved hometown of Hazleton, and I asked for pork fried rice, and they gave me hot dog fried rice. And when I brought it back, complained, they were like, "This pork."
This pork, isn't it? What are you talking about?
This is pork. The riffing is very entertaining, yes. And I didn't mean that as racist. People are going to be like, now you're making fun of Chinese people. No, I'm not. Take a joke. Jason Parker, how are you?
You know, it's when I was in the Philippines, that was their fast food restaurants over there is Jollibee, and their spaghetti comes with little pieces of hot dog cut up in it. And I had that when I was a kid. You know, Chef Boyardee has SpaghettiOs with hot dogs in it, but that's apparently a thing over there. So, if it was pork hot dogs, technically they had you there. I mean, on a technicality, it's not what you expect when you order pork fried rice, but who knows what's in a hot dog? So. My dad used to say it was lips and a-holes, so...
Yeah, I mean, I can't eat hot dogs anymore. First of all, I would only eat, like, Sabrett or Best, like, the really thin hot dogs. Like, I can't eat Ballpark, like, those... And I don't like bologna either. But I always think of that Simpsons episode where they're, like, pork chops, and she thinks of, like, where the pork chop comes from. And they're, like, rump roast, and she thinks where the rump roast... And they're, like, hot dog, and it's, like, a rat tail and some toenails or something. I think of that every single time, just like tuna. I remember in the early 90s when I was little and I lived across the street from that cemetery, my mom made tuna fish for us to have for like a tuna fish sandwich. And my mom and my sister got really sick and my dad and I didn't. And they got like food poisoning and it was 2 different cans, I suppose. Like, I think that's what happened. The next night, all over the TV was the factory that this specific tuna fish had come from was contaminated with rats' hairs and roach legs in the tuna.
Extra protein.
I think about that every time I open up a can of tuna to like make Ray like a sandwich or something because I won't touch the stuff. I think about it all the time.
I opened a can.
By the way, it's
tuna.
Ray's birthday. Happy birthday, Ray. He's 64.
Happy birthday, Ray.
Eddie Ram, welcome.
I opened a can of tuna once, and inside the can of tuna was a hair, probably about a foot long, black, thick. It was like either had to be like a Native American or they don't call themselves Eskimos anymore. I forget what they call themselves, but
Samoans or Pacific Islanders or something.
It was something like that. It was Asian. It was a very black, very thick hair. But it's, what is they used to call them Eskimos. There's another term for them now, but I can't remember what it is. But, yeah, I had to throw out the whole can of tuna.
Yeah, guys, I'm puking too.
But it was sealed and cooked in the can. You know, that's how they pack tuna. They heat it.
So. It's bad when it says may or may not contain dolphin.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I don't want to eat dolphins. Come on, bro. I can't with you guys. I can't. Inuit. You guys are killing me with these large words or these
Inuit.
words.
Inuit. Yeah, that's
what does that mean?
That's what Eskimos are now.
Oh.
I think Eskimo is like real derogatory. So
derogatory.
Sorry
right?
to any Eskimos in the audience there. I'm sure there's hundreds of you. But
that's what I said. Please don't ever think, oh, Estella was eating tuna. I'm so sorry.
As long as there's not black Eskimo hairs in it, you're okay.
Lotus Girl Towing to Neil says, oh my God, y'all are killing it tonight. I'd rather have Italian food. I went to Todd Brown. I'm going to read that in 1 second. So I went to this place when I actually had female friends. I worked at this place called the Nevada Diner in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and I worked there for a while. But I worked the overnight shift, so I would get all the drunks coming in from the bar across the street. No offense to y'all drunks. I love y'all. But I would get people that are like, could you spit in my drink? I just want to taste you. And since I was like dating the manager, he would like get really mad. It was so weird. So anyway, I totally forgot where I was going with that, but it was something funny. I'll remember eventually.
Surat says he's Nunavut, and
I remember now.
He's Eskimo, and Nunavut is the capital of the Eskimo people. I apologize. I couldn't remember the word Inuit. I'm not sure if I'm even saying that right.
Guys, you were,
But, when I was a kid, and there was no disrespect meant in it, but you referred to as Eskimos. So that was the only thing I could think of. But it was that type of hair. It was very thick, very black. It could have been Asian, but or Native American, First Nations.
Can it just be a long black hair?
Black,
blue
but
hair on regretting eating dinner. Yeah, guys, let's move. So what I was gonna say,
straight as a stick,
was I met some female friends at this diner, which I normally don't have. Now I have a ton of you, which is so awesome because I have so many of you females on here that I reach out to almost on a daily basis, or that I tell you guys, like, I'll give you all my number and be like, reach out anytime. But I had a few female friends, and this one girl had a crush on the owner of the diner's son, and they owned another restaurant down the street. And we went to this place. I think it was called, it was some really Greek restaurant. I had never had like actual Greek food. If you live in New Jersey, we have the most amount of diners in one state in the entire country, and almost all of them are owned by Greeks. I mean, that's just a fact, right? But the food was so good. Like, I love those grape leaf things that with the rice inside. So that was just a good experience I had when eating Greek food. Might have been a Sasquatch hair. Chris Jarvis, I think you're right. Puppies. Let's talk about puppies. Oh, you're not from Hazleton. That's right. You're from McAdoo. Why are you typing that stuff under my name? You're trying to make me look bad. By the way, guys, both Steve and myself are under Gemma Jade. So some of that is not eating because I'm reading something about eating dinner. Some of that writing is not mine.
I'll put an asterisk next to the ones that are me.
Todd Brown says only down south. Michigan still has serious regulations. Okay, I want to get off the prepared meat thing because it is starting to get really gross. Moussaka, Spanakopita, and Dolmadas. I know what moussaka is, and I think it's absolutely delicious. I just went to Red Lobster a few weeks ago. And the place they're talking about isn't open anymore. I wonder why. Not Gemma. So what did you all do today? Puppies. Let's talk about puppies. Cookie, I love the way you think.
I could grab that and run with it, but I won't do it.
The reason I saw Quinn and got like a little bit confused is because before I took on the persona, I guess, I only meant to take on a name, but Gemma Jade has kind of become a whole personality all of her own. Like, there's my real name, which a lot of you know because I've accidentally said it, or someone else has like 100 times since I've been doing this. Oh, and then there's Gemma, right? And but what I used to go by for years and years and years when I did some modeling was Harley Q Monroe. And it's Jack in the Box here got me this gigantic poster of a mash between Marilyn Monroe and Harley Quinn, my two people that I've idolized most in the world. Now, I wasn't only a Harley Quinn fan since she first came out, and since she came out in Suicide Squad. It's Jack in the Box and I were reading the Mad Love Joker comic in 91 or 92 when she first appeared. Okay, so I didn't just jump on the bandwagon with her. I've always loved her. But the reason I got rid of that name was because she had become so incredibly trendy that I couldn't deal with it anymore. So I decided to use my favorite two first female names as my alias here. It's Jack in the Box says, have you seen these mermaid encounter videos popping up on the internet? You just reminded me, I have to write it down and put it on my little sticky note wall over here. I don't know if you can see that. I promised a video about mermaids. You know how I did my real vampire encounters. I'm about to do real werewolves. I am looking into real mermaids. So no, I haven't, Jack in the Box, but if you can please send me links, maybe to, not my phone, because I always delete messages. I don't know, put it in Facebook Messenger and I'll find it. Sweetly Morbid Bear, hi, boo.
You should have RJ write it on the wall for you.
Oh, you know what he did today? It was so funny. Because, I don't know if I told you all, but he has an imaginary friend that he calls my friend Louie. Like, he literally calls him my friend Louie. So I find myself getting out extra clothes and pantomiming dressing my friend Louie, putting his shoes on. I have to get a water cup when RJ has his chocolate milk so my friend Louie can have water while RJ has chocolate milk. I mean, the whole nine, guys. I have two kids here now, apparently. We walked past the spot. So a couple weeks ago, I think I told most of you guys that RJ had come upstairs with a black permanent Sharpie magic marker, and I had asked him where he had got it and what he was doing with it. And he pretended like he couldn't speak real words, right? So I'm like, okay, I checked his whole body, no writing. So I was like, whatever, I guess he just is holding the marker. Turns out he got it from the junk drawer in the downstairs kitchen. So I'm like, okay, he didn't do anything. As I walked out of my bedroom down the steps of my hallway to get back downstairs to my den and my living room, I see that he made some little markings, like hieroglyphics, okay, on the wall underneath the light switch. So I said to him, ooh, Daddy's going to be so mad, right? So anyway, Ray's like, we'll just get a Mr. Clean magic eraser, whatever, as long as he doesn't do it again, because my one wall in my living room is all mirrors. So I gave him washable crayon and told him he can write on the mirror walls. But being that he just turned 3 yesterday, was his 3rd birthday, I don't think knew the difference between the mirror wall and the wall. So anyway, as we're walking up the steps today, I hear him say, ooh, my friend Louie, Daddy's going to be so mad at you for that. And points at the hieroglyphic looking stuff that's still on the wall because I still haven't cleaned it.
Yeah.
So both my brother and his son called you Harley. Didn't see it myself. Wait, what? I don't get it. I just realized you guys' names are wrong. Estella Pinkton, yeah. Steve, I don't think Steve did mine on purpose, but he definitely did.
I did.
You did?
Because I decided to do mine in Stockton. I thought, well, how can I mess yours up? So that was what I came up with.
Yes, Denitza, but I'll let Steve take that one since I've been talking so much.
Also, I wanted to talk about that photo you sent me the other day where you were like, this is the kind of crap that happens when I try to do something and turn my back. And it looked like RJ had taken his shopping cart, his little toy shopping cart, full of groceries, and shoved it down the stairs.
And that's exactly what he did.
And he's standing there with this look like, I don't know how it happened. He's just the way he's standing there is just like, I don't know, Mommy. Did his friend Louie shove it down the stairs?
He kept going like this. I said, RJ, why did you do that? My friend Louie, and he's doing this with. But I showed Steve. I said, this is why I don't get work done, and this is why I can't I can't really Skype with Steve with RJ Ron. He's about, he's almost there to the point where I can say, listen, buddy, Mommy's working, go color or sit right here. But he's not quite there yet. So, I don't get a lot done, but I wanted to show Steve, not that he didn't believe me, but I was like, I'll prove it to you. Look what happened when I turned my back for 10 minutes. And that's literally what he did. He took, because he has two stoves, fake refrigerators, all this stuff. And it's in the hallway outside my room because his bedroom, the den, the living room, the dining room, and my bedroom are all filled with toys. My son is spoiled, but whatever. So he literally filled the shopping cart up, and he took like the smallest little pieces too. Like he has a whole fake bag of chips with actual chips in it that I put in a coffee can. Dumped the coffee can and just threw it down the steps. Slow motion, do I know you in real life? Because only people I know in real life have called me Harley. Sirach, a few days ago I seen 5 crows having a funeral for a dead crow. It was just amazing. Would that be considered a murder of crows? Just 5. Do you believe in witchcraft, Steve? Denitsa wants to know.
I believe in it. I'm not a practitioner of it. I mean, it's a form of sympathetic magic. I've studied it. I studied comparative religions in college. Studied witchcraft, hoodoo, voodoo, several different variants there. There's white magic, black magic, kitchen witch, pagan beliefs. What's the other one that I can't think of the really common one that a lot of people practice, and I'm totally lost.
Wicca?
Wicca. I was trying to think of that. I've known a lot of Wiccans in the past, and it's another form of folk magic and stuff. It's very similar to the pagan magic and the druid beliefs and stuff. So I don't know if I'm answering your question or not. So yeah, I believe in it. Like I said, it's one of those things. A lot of that sympathetic magic, if you believe in it and in what you practice, it does work to a degree. And that's been my experience with people that I've known that practice it. I've never been a practitioner. My grandmother was a self-proclaimed gypsy witch, but she was really in the Wiccan tradition. She's more like what they call a kitchen witch. She didn't have dedicated tools or an altar or anything like that. The same bowl that she used for scrying would be just as likely to have potato salad in it the next day. So, anyway, I hope that answered your question.
On my end about that, and Nick, why I'm going to get to that because I think that's really interesting. Chris Jarvis, I know a lot of Wiccans too. My son Damien, who I had on here, the psychic medium, my 16-year-old psychic medium son, his father is actually a practicing Wiccan. But I was saying I definitely believe in witchcraft. I've seen it, and honestly, lately I'm a Christian, so I do believe in it, but I don't practice it. But with all this, I just bit my tongue. With all the stuff I've been doing lately to kind of hone my psychicness, that I like to call it, because I'm clairsentient, but I want to be clairvoyant. So I do all these meditations and practices and candle burning and bell ringing. I really have to watch because I start thinking, like, is this something that I'm doing, pulling myself into some kind of witchcraft with trying to open my psychic senses more. Like I did a 10-minute exercise the other day to open my third eye, and I could not believe the day that I had as far as seeing auras without having to try. I mean, it was insane. Hey, April. April Arrington likes the blue background. And guys, if you've been following us for a while, you know who April is. April got Keeslin Roberts' father on board for our Justice for Caleb Smith podcast. So it's going to be Justice for Caleb Smith and Keeslin Roberts. We got to start that really soon. We were planning on it anyway, but we have so much going on. I recently had an argument with my sister, and she's a demon and did something truly horrible to me that I will continue to pray for her soul, as she is now a mortal enemy, and that's not a joke. Piece of crap. But anyway, as far as crows having their own language and dialect, that's really awesome. Jeanette Sanchez, welcome. Yeah. I tagged you. I can't remember everyone's name, like all of the subscribers that I have on Facebook. I always forget like everyone's name, so I forget a lot of people a lot of the time. I totally blank out. I do yoga, I do meditation, and there was one more thing that I wanted to actually say. Never mind, I'm not going to go there.
I refer to Jeanette Sanchez as my future ex-girlfriend.
You stole that from me. Oh, no, we've always actually both said my future ex-wife, my future ex-husband. Like Bruce Springsteen is my future ex-husband since Kurt Cobain passed. I love Bruce Springsteen. It's not just because I'm from New Jersey. I grew up listening to him. I love him.
Hey, there's Melissa Nicole. That's my future ex-wife right there.
Hey, Melissa Nicole. My wifey is missing, Mairead.
Yeah, I haven't seen her. Chris, is Mairead doing okay?
I tagged her. She might be busy. I saw her posting on Facebook today, so I'm sure that she's fine. Jack in the Box, I love you too for no reason. I'm just saying. He texted me, "Hey, I love you, no reason, just saying." That is my longest friend that I have in my whole life. We met in first grade, actually, and he used to follow me around like a weirdo. But, well, not used to. He kind of still does, but it's okay. It's good to be different, guys. Performing the great work. Also, Gematria Sacred Geometry and Advaita Vendata. I'm sorry. I completely probably messed those words up. I was just looking to read something from the crowd here. Marita's sleeping. Okay, yeah, it's really late she's in the UK, right?
That's no excuse.
But I always forget that there are people from other countries that watch this. You know, the farthest I've went, I think, from New Jersey is like Texas, and like I've gone to Florida multiple times to go to Disney and Universal, but you know, I'm pretty sheltered as far as the United States. Like, I am a Jersey girl. Like, I've tried to live other places and it just calls back to me. I think I've said this like the mob, you know, the boss is the boss, slow motion. I definitely agree. But it's like, I always wanted to travel, absolutely, but I forget that we have subscribers that are all over the world. So when they come in, I'm always like, oh my gosh, you're from, you know, Wales, or you're from...
It's surprising. Yeah, I have people like to come to my ghost stories at midnight that are in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and it's just really neat to get that perspective on other parts of the world.
Oh, guys, Denitza, you just reminded me. She said, Steve, I'm going to send you stories about paranormal situation I encountered. Okay. And of course, I'm talking for Steve. That is okay.
So
anyone who has
chat,
any encounters with the supernatural and or paranormal that you want to send to me. I know Steve's a much better narrator, but if you do want to send them to me, please send them to me. I'll put it in gemmajadeparanormal@gmail.com. I've got like 3 more that I'm already on part 5. What is it called in the series? I can't think of the word. Part 5. And I have like 3 more already, but send them in and I just do them as they come. And I absolutely love it. I just started like a month and a half ago. I had asked Steve if he minded if I also did listener encounters, and he said, you know, no, go for it. So you're making me look bad. Does this smell like chloroform to you? Now, that is not me, sirs. Okay, sirs and ma'ams. I am a made woman. I think I am. I mean, I'm half Irish, half Native American, but, you know. I do need to walk the world, and I planned on that until I had a surprise, beautiful and miraculous, but very surprising pregnancy in 2018. Because aside from that, my youngest was, 13, 14 at the time. So I thought I was done, but I'm not, and that's okay. But when RJ gets a little older, I do plan on really doing some extensive traveling. I've always wanted to. I've been watching Penny Dreadful, which I haven't watched the last 2 episodes yet because I was looking to see when the next season was coming out, and the stupid thing I was reading did not say spoiler alert and warn me that it was going to tell me the ending. So, and I was obsessed, like watching I never watch Netflix on my phone, but watching every single chance that I get. And now I know what happens in the end, so I don't want to watch. So, but anyway, even with like Jack the Ripper, I always watched like the redos of Jack the Ripper. There was one where they literally rebuilt with computers, and I don't even know how they do it with computer graphics. They literally rebuilt London as it looked back, or the West End as it looked back when Jack the Ripper was around. And I was just absolutely fascinated by it. And when I watched American Ripper about H.H. Holmes possibly being Jack the Ripper, I've always been fascinated with London. Ireland, number 1, then London, Italy, Paris, yeah, but I definitely do want to do some traveling. And Steve and I are planning on traveling, as we always say, through the United States at some point to come and visit our subscribers. And you guys are going to take us around your neighborhood, your town, your state, and show us some paranormal and supernatural places that we're going to explore and use some ghost detecting stuff. So we're going to do all kinds of stuff like that. And it may not be all live streamed, but we are going to film it and put it on YouTube. So,
Indeed.
Gemma, how did you start your channel? And Steve, I'll let you talk right after this. I'm going to be quiet for like 10 minutes and let you just run with it. How did you start your channel? How was it to build rapport and make it big like it is now? Denise, thank you so much for thinking my channel's big. What happened was, again, I was coming out of my addiction and I was very lonely and alone. I didn't allow myself a cell phone. I don't drive and I don't even live near public transportation. There's not even sidewalks or streetlights on my street. So moving from where I lived to here was a big shock. And I really was lonely. So I did a video, which I still have on YouTube, but it's privatized now. And I was just reaching out for comfort. And I was like, listen, I'm going to do some true crime, but I don't have any equipment. I'm just going to use my iPhone. So I hope you guys worry about the cases and not, equipment and stuff like that. And it was really bad. It was actually really sad. I was so desperate for a friend. But instead of doing true crime, and a lot of people disliked that video and it really kind of bothered me. So I took it off. But I started with addiction and recovery. But then I realized that I wanted to grow my channel and I wanted to get monetized. And with addiction and recovery, with monetization comes a little bit of censorship. Not a whole bunch, but a little bit. And I decided I didn't want to be censored when talking about addiction and recovery, right? So here's what I did. I'll tell you what I did. I stopped the addiction and recovery stuff. I started just doing true crime. I would find cases on the disappeared episodes. I would find other YouTubers' cases. I would watch their videos, but I always made sure that I made it my own. I did it my own way. And I was doing okay. I had like 250, 300 subscribers. I was moving really slow, but the people that liked me really liked me. So I started to get some actual friends. Then Steve and I hooked up in about the end of August or the beginning of September of last year. And Steve really just helped me out. And we would be willing, or I know I would be willing to help out anyone who was trying to get a channel up. Whatever you would want to do, I would help you by interviewing you on my channel and promoting you in any way that I could, because you're a friend. So I would sit my iPhone on a stack of books that were even with my face and just record, guys. Steve brought me my lighting equipment. Steve brought me my microphone. Steve brought me the holder Steve brought me so much of my stuff to help me get started. And if anyone were to need help, yeah, Jeanette Sanchez, I'm excited. That's a dream come true. A dream come true for me was this book that I'm handing in tomorrow. So I've been talking this entire time. So let Steve.
Your show on your channel. I'm just here.
I want to say, no, this is our show. You're my partner. This is like our real evil, but we're having something fill in. Melissa Lynn, I have to say hey to you. Love you so much. Thank you for coming in.
I got a couple
go
questions here. Sirach asked a while back, Steve, do folks in your area, and I assume he's meaning where I'm from originally, use the word cunning? Yeah, I would hear that occasionally. It's granny witch was the more common term, but my grandmother's people came over from England before they hit Cades Cove there in the Smokies, so that was a common word for, a folk healer or a practitioner, folk medicine or folk magic, divination, whatnot. So yeah, I did hear that term. That talk about somebody being cunning, and it wasn't meant that they were just smart or sly or whatever it meant. It had a magical inference too. And let's see, I saw some other questions here. Let me get back. And yeah, that's to pass it forward. That's what I did. I started out, with just a small channel. Then Bill discovered me, brought me over there, and we grew that from, I think it's about 10,000 when I joined, which to me that was amazing. Like, wow, he's got 10,000 users or subscribers. And just the other day we passed 95,000 subs, so we're headed to 100,000. Anxious to get that YouTube play button. I feel like I've made it then. But yeah, I've helped Jim. I've helped some other creators along the way. When we have guests and things on Campfire Stories, I like to get creators that I see something in. Like that was the way it was with Jim. I saw what she was doing and how she was doing it, and I saw diamond in the rough there. I knew there was talent and substance there. She just needed to get out there and find her audience, and it's doing well. I don't think it's gone as fast as she wanted it to, but it takes time to bake a cake sometimes, So it's in the process, and proud of her, and that she stuck with it, because I know there was times that she wanted to give up and just not do it anymore. And you get times like where it's frustrating and stuff, but Not so much me, but and same thing, Denise. The other trick is quality content and consistency. Make sure everything is as good as it can be and upload as often as you possibly can. For a while there, we were doing daily uploads, but sometimes you can get too many, two out there, and you're just kind of pumping them out assembly line style. I don't like to do that. I like to personalize everything and put as much as personalization and different stuff in it as possible so that everybody enjoys it. So, and have a lot of input. But when it first started, it was just Bill and I. He wrote scripts, I wrote scripts and narrated. He put the videos together. And now we've got a team of, I think, 6 writers. There's a couple other editors, but I am the voice. I've been told that's not going to change. That like it or not, I am the face and the voice of the channel, according to Bill. So, and I'm okay doing that. But in fact, I think I've got the easy part of the job there. The heavy lifting, making those videos and putting them together, and of course the writing and research that goes into it. Although Gemma can knock them out of the park one after another after another. She's fast when it comes to
one now
writing the episodes. Sometimes I give her a topic or give her a case, saying need half hour, 25 minutes on this or whatever. Boom, next day she's got me 5,000 word script in my email. That's just, she writes like I do. Whenever I write. Part of what I consider my work is I read 4 hours a day and I write 4 hours a day, and that's about what I do when I write for 4 hours. I usually get around 4,000 or 5,000 words. So Jim's good.
I remember I wrote that. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was really proud of this. Bill said he wanted to do a documentary on the smiley face killer theory, and I wrote a 15,000 word documentary in like a day and a half. Yep. It's premiering October 1st. I hope you all like it. April Arrington said, that's amazing. You are finishing up and turning in your very first book tomorrow. Yes, I am. Congratulations. Thanks, guys. So someone here, John Edmonds, I don't know if you saw, but I did write down H.H. Holmes. I absolutely love him, but I wasn't sure if he was like kind of done to death. So if you guys want to see that, I would definitely do a deep dive into him. I already know pretty much everything about his life. Eddie Ram says, tell us the story again about the cloaked entity you've encountered once. I will, but Steve has one too. I don't know which one of us you're talking to, so I'm going to let Steve tell his first. The Glimmer Man encounter, Steve.
Yeah, mine was different from all the others I've heard, because usually you hear about it being in the forest or in a national park or somewhere. Well, granted, mine was outdoors. I have heard of them, people seen them in their houses, though. There was recently one that we had in listener stories. But mine was in downtown Portland, and this was before all the protests and riots and stuff. It was several years ago, when it was still a fun place to go and a safe place to go anytime, day or night. But I'd been to a function at Powell's Books. If you don't know about Powell's Books, it's the largest independent bookstore in the world. It's here in Portland. It takes up, I think, about 2 city blocks. It's 5 stories tall, and they honestly have over 1 million books on their shelves. And I go in there and spend a day easily. Just the whole day goes by. And they have a lot of special events. They'll have authors and book signings and all kinds of things. And I'd gone to something down there. I think it was a book signing or an author appearance. And I got back, and I just decided to walk down to the transit mall, and catch the train. Because I think the buses had already stopped at that time, and if I couldn't catch the orange train, the late train, they called it, the night train to my neighborhood, and it was the last one, I would have had to call an Uber or a taxi or something. But I went down the transit mall. I had like 20 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. So I'm waiting on the bus. I'm the only one at this particular stop. And I'm just walking back and forth, looking in the windows of these closed stores and stuff. And at one point, I just turned around and kind of looked out toward the street, and I saw this shimmery figure. And at first, I thought it was like steam rising out of a sewer grate or something like that. It's kind of the way it looked. And I thought, well, that's weird, because it was in the summertime. And, shouldn't be heat rising off the pavement or steam coming out of a thing on the street there. So I walked over and looked, and no, there was no sewer grate or anything in the area where I saw the creature or whatever it was. it was between a trash can and a street sign. And when it noticed that I saw it, it just kind of squatted down. It was humanoid in shape. It was short. It was probably only 4 feet or so tall, and it just kind of squatted down behind the garbage can. Well, every hair on my body stood up. So I knew that I was seeing something supernatural, something out of the ordinary. So instead of following my instincts and running like hell, I just kind of played it cool, walked around a little more, and I knew that it was still there. I was waiting for it to come out or come after me or chase me. So that also, I'd heard interviews, and at that time, I don't know if I'd read Cameleo by Robert Guffey or not, but I heard him talk about the book, and it was kind of a similar type thing he was describing. Whatever it was, you could see through it. It was just like a faint outline of a figure, but it was humanoid in shape. So I kind of walked toward the street, and then when the light changed for me to stop, I just bolted out into the street, into traffic, and I got honked at and everything, and used that as an excuse to run. And didn't look back till I was way up to the next stop. And then there were actually people there, and it was a little bit better well lit. And I kept looking behind me, never saw anything, but that was the last time I've been in downtown Portland late. I wouldn't go down there now, period, just because of all the other stuff that's going on. But I don't know. I mean, you hear about people late at night, they're coming out of a bar or something, and then they're never seen from again. Granted, I wasn't in a bar, but it just, I don't know, made me stop and wonder. And sure, if it can happen in the woods, it can happen anywhere. It can happen in a building. And I think it has. Because you have cases like that, like I just mentioned, where you have video surveillance footage of somebody going into a bar. They never come out. There's no footage of them ever leaving, and they never see them again. So somebody takes people, and if it has the ability to camouflage or mask itself or make itself almost completely invisible, who's to say it couldn't do that to you if it had, possession of you, if it had a hold of you. So that's my Glimmer Man story in short. And slow motion, I don't think it's always different. That's the way I've always told it. If you want to read it in my books or go back and listen to anything, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but that's the way it
I think
happened.
sometimes you have just a longer version, and sometimes you tell it really quickly, is I think what the difference is. Like,
Yeah.
You've told it a few times when we had like 6 minutes left, and you kind of left out some, and then you tell it like you did now, and you tell the whole thing.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
can
probably
crank,
what he's
crank
referring
through it
to.
and get the, but the main part of the story is absolutely the same every time because that's what I saw.
Yeah, everything's good. It was a weird text. That's kind of why I was looking down and like making a weird face. When I get texts from numbers that I don't know, I usually just like delete them. It was some weird thing saying I was like selected for like something for my car insurance, which I don't have a car, so
I get
it's
stuff
one of those.
like that all the time. We're going to help you pay off your student debt. Yeah, well, I don't have
like,
any.
Yeah, your mortgage. My house is owned
Yeah.
outright.
Same.
So Mary
I get
S,
that.
I just want to acknowledge that Mary S is in the chat, and you I'll get to you what you said in just a minute about Crater Lake. I'm just going to quickly tell my Glimmerman story, and it is going to be like, yeah, edited for TV in the director's cut. Exactly, Nick. I'm going to tell the edited for TV kind of version because a lot of you have heard it before, but I'll tell it again, of course. So by the way, I was watching that video, and you can ask Steve, I was so angry about how thin I was. Ill. So yeah, took my son to this little, next to where I live, there's this nature area, like no build land. So I don't have any neighbors, and I have a brook that runs through my backyard that separates my property. I have like maybe 2 acres, maybe a little more, I'm not sure, from this property. And this property has, in the beginning when you go in, there's like a gravel like roundabout and a big grassy knoll, and then it goes into all of these hiking trails that go deep into the woods. Now, I've been back there one time. I got lost geocaching. Got lost because I tried to walk as the crow flies, and that don't work when you're in the deep woods. So anyways, my son and I just wanted to change the scenery, so I took him over in his little red rider wagon for a picnic. I brought some fruit, some food, whatevs. I'm standing there and we're just playing. We're kicking the soccer ball around. And I asked him if he wanted something to eat. He said, yeah. He was almost 2 years old. It was May of last year. So he was a couple months from his second birthday. He turned 3 yesterday. So, yeah. So, as I turned around, all of a sudden I hear him start going. And that's the noise that I told him bugs make, because, I mean, bugs like ants and stuff don't make noise, but he wasn't accepting that for an answer when I would tell him the noise dogs and cats make, and, you know, like for rodents or whatever noise. So I just said they click. So he starts this clicking noise out of nowhere. And when I turned around, for some reason, it gave me the creeps. And I didn't understand why it gave me the creeps, because he was just making the noise and it was super cute. Then I realized that everything had stopped. There was no wind blowing anymore. There were no squirrels around. There were no neighborhood dogs barking. No cars were passing by. There were no hikers. There were always hikers or bike riders coming in and out, because there's one straight trail that's right there that breaks off into the other trails. So, yeah, I got really creeped out. And I remember thinking, this is so weird, because my son wasn't even blinking. And after about a minute of me being like, you know, saying his name, and him just standing there making this clicking noise, the noise that he thinks a bug makes, I realize he's looking up into one of these trees. So I shield my eyes and I just kind of scan the tree line, and I notice like the leaves aren't blowing in the wind. And this is May, 2:30 in the afternoon in northern New Jersey, 50 feet, 100 feet tops from the main road, right? So it's right out here in the open, and I see it. It looked like heat. I always say the same thing. Heat that rises up off cement on a hot summer day, like that hot, like where you can fry an egg, that kind of like steam looking stuff. But it had a shape to it, and it looked like it was crouched down with one arm holding onto the tree and the other arm going with like a finger looking thing going like this to my son. And I look at my son. I'm scared to death. I pretend I don't see it. So I'm like, what do you see up there, honey? A birdie? Because I didn't want it to know I saw it. I was so scared at this point. I was literally trying to not shake. I got sick to my stomach, like nauseous. I'm trying to hold that in. I don't want to scare my son. And I see him start walking forward, right? He's walking forward. Hey, Cowie. And I'm like, what do I do? So I'm calling his name. He's not answering. And finally, when I get his attention, I hear him going, no, no. And then all of a sudden, I realize that the clicking noise is no longer coming from my son. It's coming from this thing in the tree. So I'm like, I have to make sure this thing doesn't know I saw it, right? Because I don't know if it flies. I don't know what it does. I always say, thought of the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter. Like, totally geek out. Yeah, it was the predator entity, guys. So, finally, I get RJ's attention, and he kind of looks at me like in a daze. Like, his eyes are all glazed over, and he's like, Mommy, and he starts crying and runs towards me. But I still have like my eye kind of looking up at this thing, and I'm trying to pay attention to my son, and I'm kind of like trying to surreptitiously look at this thing in like my periffs, but like my top periffs. And I see it looked like a head going like this and like snapped at me. Now I couldn't see any facial features to see if it was mad, but I knew it was mad. I knew it was angry. I knew it was flippin' evil. Okay. I even said the F word in the video to this by accident, because that's how scared I was and just like going on about this story. So I don't know what would have happened if I didn't already know from Steve's channel and someone else's channel about these entities. I knew what it was, and it was trying to lure my son. What if I had just let my son what if I hadn't been so vigilant and paying so much attention to my son, which I probably wouldn't have been had it been normal, like the wind blowing. If it hadn't, whatever goes on that stops everything around us, I probably wouldn't have even noticed and would have let my son explore like a little bit of the beginning of the trails where I can still see him. What would have happened? Does this thing swoop down and grab him? Does it hop from tree to tree? But I noticed one thing before I end this story that I didn't tell in the video. As this thing made this clicking noise, there was no movement. I told you, no wind, no trees blowing. But as it made this clicking noise, there was a little bit of a vibration that I couldn't see, but I could see it go even with where this thing's face was all around the trees. So it was like putting out some kind of energy or vibration or something, This is why I believe it communicates this way, and it's speaking some kind of language. Now, I'm doing a video. I'm working on it now, but it's probably going to take me a while because you guys know I do not like to present information unless I have all the facts about the fact that I believe I have a theory that there are 3 different Glimmerman type entities. But anyway, finally, I snap RJ out of it. As soon as RJ and I turn around, everything starts up again. Squirrels are coming out of the trees, the wind's blowing, cars are passing, dogs are barking, people are coming off the trails. I got us home as fast as we could. Every time RJ would go past that spot for a walk every single night when it was nice out because it was springtime, and he would point to that tree every single time and whisper, "There it is." And this kid could barely talk. You know, he spoke, but the hairs on the back of my neck still stand up when I think about it and when I talk about it. And even now to this day, every once in a while, like I do go over there still with him because he always wants to ride his ATV over there. So what am I going to say? No, remember the Glimmer Man. But I'll tell you what, I do not let him, because these woods are connected to the woods outside in the back of my house. I mean, I can look right now, and if it wasn't dark out, I could see the tree it was in. So, Stock Steveton, Ryan Clay.
Yeah, now I'm Steveton Stock. That's yet another one.
And I'm GEMMA Jade, but, you know, we could switch it around. But yeah, so that's my Glimmerman encounter. I do have a theory that I've said once before. Again, I'm doing a video on it before we pack up here. That I believe there are 3 different Glimmerman, at least, because there's the one I saw, which I believe is some type of alien or the predator type entity. I really believe, I read some of Camellia. I skimmed it. Steve was nice enough to send it to me. I believe our government or some foreign government, I don't know. I believe they're soldiers of some sort. And then I believe there are ones now that are going into people's houses or approaching people in the woods and helping people. One took away someone's brain tumor or something. One took away someone's cancer, I read about. Steve, I have to send you that article. Mm-hmm. So yeah, guys, I have to wrap up soon because Ray thought I was doing an 8 to 9 show and I'm doing a 9 to 10. So he's probably like, what the heck is she doing up there? And I hear RJ getting crazy. So Steve, if you have anything else you'd like to add, and then I'm going to wrap up and then you could bring us out if you don't mind.
I think that's it. I did hear a story recently about a Glimmer creature that was in the shape of a praying mantis, but like one that was 10 feet tall. So that sounds frightening. And then I was doing some other research, and there is an entity that's been seen in New Jersey called the Mantis Man, which is like a tall praying mantis. And then I found another case, I think that was here in Vancouver, Washington. There was a lady looked out her window and saw a praying mantis that was almost as tall as the light pole outside of her house. So that's a frightening thought to me. I would want it to be invisible. I don't want to see a giant praying mantis. But
didn't I say in my video that the thing reminded me of a praying mantis? And Ryan Clay, the point was, we spelled our names wrong. If you look underneath our names, that was why we were joking with you. It wasn't that we were offended. It's that Steve purposely spelled each of our names wrong. Yeah, I had an itch on my ear, guys. Sorry, Steve, I interrupted you.
Steve Stockton, and that's GEMMA JADE, but with the G and the J. Unspooned
Stock
rice
Steve
like that. But just having a bit of fun tonight. We're doing something different. I wanted a different background, a different setup here than what I normally do. So this was just a throw together, and I did put I'd already had my name misspelled and figured out how to do hers at the last minute and still make it sound good. But yeah, you did mention that, and that clicking noise. There's something about that reminds me of a praying mantis. I don't know that I've ever actually heard one click, but it looks like if it made a noise, it would be a clicking one. And I think on a sub level, lower than we can hear, but that other animals and insects can hear, there are they do have a sound. I read somewhere where some guy had taken some super duper fancy microphone and had been able to capture the language of ants. That they do have some sort of like a language that they speak, and they talk to one another. Plants supposedly do the same thing. So I would love to hear what that clicking would mean.
I have something really good coming up for you guys that I'm going to film this weekend. Something that you all never heard of that Steve sent to me tonight that you guys are going to freak out about, of something that could be going on in the woods. So, Rock, yes, we did talk about that's how I knew what I was looking at.
Yeah, it's plus the
was
lady's
because
name is Jan. I can't remember the last name. Her husband is a UFO researcher and a physicist, and she was near a high school. She was up in a tree stand with a bow, and there was a UFO incident at the same time over on the other side of the high school. But yeah, there's footage of that, and she described it same thing, and there's pictures of it. It was a flip phone, but she got pictures of it, and she said it looked like imagine something wrapped in an almost clear, completely clear saran wrap, but just enough that when it moved, you could see that there was something there.
it was taken on a BlackBerry, and Sirach, you said the picture somehow was in a setting that the phone was impossible to make. Yeah, it was taken in some weird way that was impossible. Guys, I'm so sorry. I want to go on, but I really have to wrap it up. My son has to go to bed. So I just want to say I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining us here on my channel. We've got 48 watching, 46 watching now, 31 likes. If you guys would please hit the like button. Sirach, you can see the pics. I think you can see them online. If not, I'll find out where I saw them. Steve, Terry, we're just wrapping up. No big deal. Just go back and listen. We had a really fun time tonight. Guys, thank you for joining me again on my channel. I hope we can do this every Wednesday. We'll switch it up every week. This was like a fireside chat. Maybe next week we'll do something different and talk, about serial killers or something. We don't know. Maybe we'll do something on the Glimmer Man or the Predator entity since you guys are so interested. Missy Lynn, everybody, thank you so much. Just everyone. Thank you for coming in and sharing this time with us again for like the 5th time because I forgot what I was saying. I love you all. Always go in grace. Be kind to each other. It doesn't cost anything and can really make you feel so good. When you're an evil person, I'm sure that doesn't feel very good. You're going to end up alone in life. Ocean Mist, so nice to see you. Guys, sweetest dreams, and say goodnight to Stockton. As this says, always choose kind, okay? Always. And just remember, that's a play on my name. It's actually spelled with a G. It looks too much like the name Jenna, and have an experience with that name.
Now.
So, yeah, maybe it'll be something different every week. Who knows? You never know what you're going to get here. So have your best day. Have your best night, guys. And, hang out. The Missing in the Fae Theory, Part 1 by Gemma Jade. The book will be handed in tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get it out on Kindle and then paperback within the next month or so. I love you guys so much. And yes, Sirach, love and abundance to everyone. I think that pretty much says it all. See ya. Mwah! Bye-bye. That was a really loud kiss.
Yeah. And I just dropped a link in the chat, although I don't see it. It's for that Glimmerman story with Jan that we were talking about. But if you search for it, I searched for Jan Predator Creature, and it came up. There's a really long article there. I don't know why it didn't post. I'm with my 13 past midnight account. I must not be a mod on here. So, but usually it'll appear here and give the option to okay it. But anyway, if you Sirach, if you just search for Jan Predator Creature, that was all I did, and it was like one of the first articles that came up. It is Brumac, BRUMAC.mysite.com. I can't see the rest of the URL, but it's worth a read. It talks about the photos, and she was trying to do a selfie, and that was how she saw it. And it talks about how it's been analyzed and everything. It's a very long, well-written article there. All right, I'm going to get out of here, let Gemma go take care of her family, and I'll see you guys next time. Join us Friday night on Missing Persons and Mysteries for Campfire Stories, and again on Sunday night for Fireside Chat. And then every night at midnight on 13 past midnight, that's midnight Pacific time, I have Ghost Stories at midnight. So,
Laura Stevens, that's where it is, on the end of that video.
Yeah. But again,
Go
ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, don't forget to send any encounters personal with the supernatural and or paranormal to either my email at gemmajadeparanormal@gmail.com. I just put it in, or stevestockton81@gmail.com, or both of us. Guys, I really got to go. Hit the like button, abuse it. It likes it. See you on Friday night.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. I'm Steve Stockton. I'll talk to you next time.